Are you a Jesus-loving woman who overexercises and deprives herself of food, desperately trying to obtain a goal weight on the scale? And yet, at the same time, you strive to be a healthy version of yourself by eating well and feeling fit? Hi, I'm Andrea, and I was running on the same hamster wheel for over 20 years. My toxic body image and eating disorder stole my joy and self-respect. Thankfully, God was always with me, fighting my battles and blessing me with the grit to reclaim my life. I'm off the hamster wheel, but I see you still stuck in the cage, and I want to help free you too. Journey with me every week. I'll share personal stories, tools, mindset shifts, and the practical steps I took to heal my unhealthy relationship with food and exercise. I don't believe food and exercise are the problems. I believe they're part of the solution. Instead, I'll teach you how your mindset and faith are the keys to healing. Get ready to navigate your newfound path to healing. Get ready to reclaim your self-worth. Get ready to realign with your God-given identity. For in this identity is where you find true wellness and healing. When you are well, your gifts shine into the world. Shine on, babe. Let's do this. I'm Andrea Carroll, and this is Good Vanilla. Hey friend, I have to quick pop on here and tell you that your eating disorder does not need to rule your life. It does not need to dictate every decision you make throughout your day. To help you see this, to help you see that you have a choice, that you have power over your decisions and over your life, I created 2 free workbooks for you. The first one is called 4 Secrets Your Eating Disorder Doesn't Want You to Know. In this workbook, you will learn 4 radical ways to shift your mindset to take control back from your eating disorder. The second free workbook is a Tame Your Eating Disorder Triggers. In this one, you will learn my 3-step process to regulate your emotions when a trigger strikes. This way, you are not relapsing so far back and losing all progress that you have made in your recovery up to this point. You can find the link for each of these workbooks in the show notes. So go download them, print them out, work through them. Do the inner work, friend, and start gaining momentum. Start reclaiming back your days. Start reclaiming back your life. Remember, God did not create you to be stuck in an eating disorder. He has so much more planned for you, friend. Go get it. Hey there, friend. Welcome to the show. I am so happy to have you here. It is an honor to have your ears and your heart. Get out your journal and get ready, because I'm going to come at you with an eye-opening statement, and I really need you to contemplate it and dive deep into what it means for your life and your situation. If you are restricting food, you are also restricting in other areas of your life. So here's what I mean by this. Restrictions in an eating disorder are very common. It goes without saying that it is second nature. It happens, right? It is something that is a symptom of an eating disorder. And it is something that runs your day. It runs your life. If you are hoping to enjoy an evening meal out at a restaurant, you are looking at all the ways to restrict leading up to that point so that you can maybe order what you want and maybe enjoy yourself. But more than likely, you will pick something safe and you might not eat all of it. Because that is the evilness of restriction. And they aren't only reserved for an eating disorder. Because if you have a habit, if you have a way of of living your life that is so ingrained in you. It is such a big part of your day. It is ingrained in your thought process. It is the way your brain is wired. It is trickling into all the other areas of your life. And really, restrictions aren't so much just a symptom of an eating disorder. It is a symptom of unworthiness. It is a symptom of feeling like you're not enough. And it really is just exemplified within an eating disorder. Your eating disorder is a way for you to maximize restriction in your life. It is like a playing field on which you can manipulate and control. In that way, you keep it there in this safe little box, and you're not looking inward and seeing the depths of which you operate out of restriction, and where and how much restriction actually controls you. That you are the game piece, that restriction is moving on the board, telling you to turn this way, telling you to step back, dictating your every move. Restriction is evil. And it is in other areas of your life. And the awareness around this is going to open up the doors of recovery. It's going to show you, however prevalent restriction is in your life, you will learn where the root cause is. What are the beliefs? What are the thoughts leading to restriction? Leading to the need of restriction. Because it's not just about food. It's not just about the way your body looks. It's not just about proving that you fit into our culture's standard of beauty. It is at a core level, you trying to prove to yourself that you belong here, that you deserve to be here, that you have purpose. And you need to focus on that component. Because when you do that, like I said, you will open up the doors to recovery. So how do you do this? I told you to get out your journal. I told you to get your pencil. Let's go. Okay. Right at the top of the paper. In what other areas am I restricting in my life? Are you restricting joy? That was a big one for me. Are you restricting fun? Are you restricting rest? It can be anything, any simple habit, any simple need. Like going to the bathroom. I'm serious, you guys. This sounds ridiculous. But when you have to pee, think about this for a moment. When you have to pee, are you telling yourself that, well, I'm going to get this and this and this done, X, Y, and Z done first before I pee, before I go to the bathroom? Or are you going to drop everything and say that can wait, and then I can address my need to pee and actually go pee? Or are you going to put yourself behind the other things? And are you going to make yourself earn to go to the bathroom? Like, this is what I'm saying. This is how many areas that this can, and it is restricting. You're restricting your basic needs. The awareness of this can only be obtained if you allow yourself to slow down and analyze what you do on a day-to-day basis. So maybe it's something where you're going to have your phone accessible or a notebook. And as you go through your day, having that mindfulness about what you are choosing, what you are thinking, your actions. Like, what action are you taking? And jotting down in the moment, oh, I was going to watch a television show with my husband, but I feel like I need to clean the bathroom first. Yes, I understand the bathroom needs to be cleaned, but that is a form of restriction. You are restricting rest. You're restricting a meaningful connective time with your spouse. You're restricting pure, just allowing yourself to exist without, quote unquote, being productive. And if you are in an eating disorder, maybe you are not aware of restrictions, and maybe you're not aware of how much or how often you are doing it throughout your day, even around food. So if that's the case, if you're thinking restrictions, well, this is normal behavior, right? It's normal to not eat breakfast, or it's normal to eat a little bit of breakfast because I have a luncheon with friends, and if I want to be able to eat at the luncheon, I should cut back on breakfast even though I'm hungry, so hungry, and I could eat the breakfast and the luncheon. You guys, that's a restriction. You are restricting. So maybe you need to build awareness around that first. There's so many, this is such a tricky thing, and it hides itself, because that's what evil things do. They hide themselves so that we have to find them, and we have to uncover them, and we have to point our fingers at them and call them out. So, friend, you need to point your finger at restriction and call it out. I want this to be an actionable episode for you today. I want you to take this episode and I want you to apply it to your life. I want you to implement. I want you to write this down. I want you to write down, in what other areas am I restricting in my life? You could also write down, if I'm restricting food, where else am I restricting in my life? You could also write, how am I restricting food? Recovering from an eating disorder requires mindfulness. It requires a mental practice that is relentless in uncovering all the little bits and pieces that make up the mental health condition of an eating disorder. Because then once you do that, you will be able to identify it in the moment while it's happening. And then you will be able to start changing the habit in the moment. And that's how you change that habit, is addressing it in the moment. Your brain will shoot you a little red flag, like a little siren, blare, blare, blare. You're like, this isn't right. You're thinking this. So start with this. Get out your notebook. Have your phone accessible. And as you're going through your day, start making notes. See where you are doing this. See where you are restricting with food. Make note of it. And make note of where you are restricting in other areas of your life. Hey, love, it's time someone tells you the truth. You choose your thoughts. Even though the eating disorder brain, the eating disorder voice is screaming at you all day long, you have the power to control and deny and unsubscribe from those lies that it is shouting at you. And you can do this by replacing it with a truth, replacing it with positive thought, with affirmation, something that gives you life. And I get it. It can feel like you're drowning in overwhelm. How do you even do this, right? When all you know is negativity, when all you know is limiting beliefs. I created something called the Speak Life Bundle to support you in this. This is exactly why I made this. I wrote 3 prayers for you to listen to in the morning to get your intention right for your day, to get your mind lined up right, for the afternoon to support you when you're really dipping low, and in the evening before you go to bed to realign yourself with your truth. This bundle also includes 54 affirmation cards that you can print out and paste everywhere. So anytime one of those thoughts come up, you have a truth right there in the moment to dispel the lie, to do that right in that moment. Because that's how you do this. You decide that you are going to think these things, friend. Okay? You can get this Speak Life bundle to support you. You can find the link in the show notes. So go grab that now, download it, start using it today, start changing the way you think about yourself, and you will start changing the way you fight back in your eating disorder recovery. The eating disorder is the symptom of the root cause of unworthiness, of that need to be enough, trying to obtain that perfectionism. And if you are operating out of an obsessive personality, you are going to obsess on being perfect, on feeling like you're enough. And the restriction is the answer to that. It is your way of finding the solution. Well, how can I be perfect? Well, how can I be enough? Oh, here it is. I will restrict in these areas so that I feel worthy. I'm somehow a better person because I didn't eat the cake. I'm somehow a better person because I ran 4 miles today. I'm somehow a better person because I chose to clean the bathroom instead of watching TV with my husband. I'm somehow a better person because I'm productive every second of every day. I'm so sick of it. I'm getting worked up, you guys, because I struggle with this to the core of my being. I restrict so much. I restrict joy. I've been doing it for so long and I didn't even know it. The symptom for me was an eating disorder. But that was like the 1,000th step after me restricting that eating disorder. So it takes time to start working back from there. It's not that you can't do it. You can, but it starts with mindfulness. And it starts with the grit of wanting to figure it out. That resolve that you're not going to give up until you figure this crap out. And you start making notes on it, and you start doing it. And you start questioning and piecing things apart and looking at the beliefs and the things you do and ask yourself, why do you do it? Is it aligned with yourself? Because I know for a fact it was not aligned with me. The amount of time that I spent working out, the amount of time I spent planning and thinking about food and getting the perfect scenario lined up, all that time was a waste. I wasn't living out of my purpose. I wasn't doing what God created me to do. You can bet I'm doing it now because I figured this out. This is the work that I did to figure it out. And I want you to do it too. If you need help in this, because this is deep stuff, you guys, if you need help in this, I am here for you. Send me an email. Reach out to me. I cannot wait to hear what you find out. Where are you restricting? Because that's the next step. Is speaking it out, calling it out, voicing it, and saying, because that just gives you more power when you do that. When you put it out there and you say, here it is, I see it now, I know what I'm going to do about it, and I'm going to do it. And then having someone to hold you accountable. And I can be that person for you. I am an eating disorder recovery coach because I have been through it. That's why I chose to do this, because I made it through to the other side. I've figured out that faith is the foundation in this, you guys. That faith is the missing component that I've seen in so many other messaging around recovery and healing. So that is why I'm here. And I mention faith with this right now. I haven't mentioned it a lot in this episode, because when you find those things that you are restricting, it's going to take that relationship with God. It's going to take that faith to get you to overcome it, to support you through it. It's going to call out a lot of things in your life, and you're going to be questioning, and it's hard to understand because the world is a confusing place, and you're like, well, why? The diet and fitness cult, like the diet culture tells me this is normal. It tells me I should be doing this. But is it aligned with you? Is it aligned with who God created you to be? Is this where God wants you to spend your time? Well, no. So I always go back to that, because it's like, if it's not from God, then it's not for me. So I need to knock this crap off. So that's why I bring this up at the very end here, because this is the magic piece of this all with recovery. Your relationship with Jesus and God. And that, my friend, is something you are probably restricting too. And that can't be. Are you restricting your relationship with Jesus? Are you restricting your prayer time? Are you restricting connecting to God through His Word and the Bible? If you are, guess who's winning? Guess who's trying to separate you? Who's trying to cut you off? Don't let evil win. Don't let restriction win. It's a sneaky little component. It really is. So let this episode sit with you. It's something that's leaving me rather emotional, to be honest, because I know how deep this goes, how much of a struggle, a daily struggle this is for so many of you. And even as a recovered person from an eating disorder, how much restriction still tries to grasp a hold of my life. And every day I have to give it over to God. I have to give it over to God time and time again. But that's okay. It doesn't mean I'm not enough. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It means I'm a human being. It means I'm normal. You're a human being. You're normal. You need help. We need help. But guess who's the greatest helper of all? Let's lean on Jesus, okay, friend? Stop restricting your relationship with Him as well. Yeah, I'm pretty emotional because that just came to me. The restricting, I had been restricting my relationship with Jesus. Yeah. Wow. Okay, friend. Well, I guess I'm going to get out my journal and jot that down and kind of play around with that for a little while, because I'm going to have to dig into that, and I hope you will too. Okay? You have a great rest of your week. Hang in there. I'm here for you. You are loved. You are needed. You are so worthy. Bye. Hey there, friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It truly means the world sharing this time with you. But to be honest, it's never enough time. Like, I could talk to you forever. If you feel the same way, come on over and visit me on Instagram at Andrea_Caro. Introduce yourself. And while you're there, you'll see that my page is infused with faith. It is infused with hope. And it is infused with humor. And these are things we need in eating disorder recovery. It's my mission to change the messaging around healing journeys. I believe that we should be pursuing wellness from a foundation of faith. So if today's podcast episode or any other episodes resonated with you, please consider rating and reviewing my show on Apple Podcasts. I would appreciate it so much. This would help me get my message in front of other people like you that need it so desperately. And if you know of any friends that need this message, that need this show, please share it with them. And remember, God created you. He loves you. He has great plans in store for you. So get ready, girl, and shine on, babe.